St. Clair has been a member of the Texas burlesque community since 2019. She's had more than 20 years of classical training experience and holds a bachelor degree in performance dance. She's a nationally renowned award-winning performer and mentor, specializing in musicality, improv, and act development. She took out the title of Sin City Burlesque Queen in 2023, and she is a member of the Show Pony Revue in Dallas, Texas. Her signature style mixes her love of classic glamour with filthy grit and grind. She leaves her audiences captivated, enthralled, and always begging for more. Here she is, our first international guest, Vixie St. Clair. Welcome back to the Burlesque Bulletin podcast. I am your host, Honey Holloway, and today we have such an exciting day, everyone. We have our first international guest and my personal favorite, I'm being selfish, okay? My personal favorite burlesque performer, Vixie St. Clair here. Hi, Vixie.
Oh, thank you. Hi. Hello.
How are you going?
I'm doing so well. How are you?
I'm so good. We talked a little bit before we went online, but I was just saying how I love the hairband
Yes.
going along. It's so cute.
Yes, I wanted to bring out the fanciest things. So
Yeah. Definitely a statement.
Yes.
So with my guests, before we get into all the fun burlesque questions, I love to ask everyone what their zodiac sign is if they know, and their moon and rising if they know.
Yes. So I'm an Aries sun, Aries moon, and I have a Libra rising. So a little bit of sister sign action for
I
sure. So
love that.
yes, it's the only thing that keeps me from being an actual menace to society, I feel.
Yeah. I have the Taurus Scorpio both sides as well. So
Okay.
I can
Yes, so
relate
you
to
feel
that.
it. Yes. The inner turmoil is strong.
Definitely. Okay, so let us know how you got into burlesque. Tell us the story.
Yeah, so I have actually been a dancer my whole life. I started dancing when, I was like 3.5, tap ballet, all that fun stuff. Started competing when I was about 6, and then competed all the way through high school, both like recreationally, and I also was on my high school's dance team as well. Then when I went to college, I actually, my major was in performance dance. And so I've been dancing forever. My first time learning about burlesque was actually in my dance history class when I was in college. So I think it was my junior year. And it was when we were learning sort of like the beginnings of like jazz and vaudeville and all of that stuff. And they briefly touched on burlesque in my dance history class. Um, at the time, I was, of course, I was following Dita on Instagram. So, as you do.
Of course,
So
of
I was
course.
following her, and it was getting closer to like when I was going to be graduating college, and I was really, trying to figure out what I wanted to do after I graduated. I was always very hell-bent on being like a modern dancer, rolling around on the ground to whale sounds, and that's very much where I thought I was going to be. And at that time was actually when Ginger Lee Valentine was doing her tour with Dita, where she was doing the act on the big heart rock.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, I think Dita had posted, it was like rehearsal footage of her on the prop. And I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my whole entire life. How do I figure out how to do this? And started following Ginger, and I started following a whole bunch of other people and just kind of rabbit holed myself. And I was like, this is so much fun. This is so glamorous. This is so amazing. Like, I really, really love this art form, and started taking some local classes, and then debuted in the summer of 2018. And then just have been here. I decided to stick around. So, so
Amazing.
yeah. I've always loved movement, and I've always been drawn towards more like hyper feminine forms of dance, really sexy jazz, like even like Fosse, Chicago. I've always been very interested in sort of that style. So it kind of really just fell into place once I started doing it.
Amazing. So how did you come up with your name, Vixie Sinclair?
Oh my gosh, so it's really funny. It was really difficult. I had such a hard time. One of my backup names was Rosemary Marie, actually,
Oh,
which is I had been told that it was like a little bit of a grandma name, but
yeah,
like
it
I
is
really
giving
like it
grandma,
still.
but I love
I
it.
love it. Um, but it's really funny. At the time when I debuted, I had a different tagline. My tagline I had given myself was the feisty fox of burlesque because I am a redhead and I actually derived my name. Have you ever seen the movie The Fox and the Hound?
Of course. It was like my
Yeah,
favorite growing up.
yes, so sad.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
so sad.
literally, I literally, every time I see that scene of the grandma like dropping up,
Leaving him, oh my gosh, cries,
oh
full
my
tears.
God.
But yes, but yeah, so the lady fox that he ends up meeting and being with, her name in the movie is Vixie. And
Oh,
I was like, I really like that because I didn't want to go with Vixen necessarily. I wanted to kind of have a play on that term or the word. And I think in the movie it's spelled Vixy. And I was like, I can do Vixie. And then I just liked the way that it sounded with St. Clair. I know that's kind of a sort of a common, burlesque last name like St. Clair Sinclair. And I just liked the way it sounded together. So that's what I ended up going with.
I can't believe I didn't put two and two together because I love that movie and
I
like,
love it so much.
and it's such a good name. It's so cute.
Thank
It's like
you.
Pixie and Vixen. It's the cutest
Yeah.
combination.
Yeah. Well, and I always kind of like when I was sort of thinking of my burlesque persona, I wanted to be sort of like the mix of like your sort of coquettish, like very playful, sweet, like girl next door character, mixed with like your more sexy femme fatale sort of character as well. I wanted to be somewhere in between, and Vixie just kind of felt right to me. It was kind of like the best of both worlds. So
Definitely, definitely. So can you describe Vixie Sinclair in 5 words?
I would say in 5 words. Oh, it's really hard. I would say playful for sure. I would say I almost would say raunchy too. I like to have both like let's say raunchy and sweet because I like to have sort of both sides of that in a lot of my performances because I like the sweetness, but I also really am definitely more of a raunchy performer, at least in my opinion. So playful, sweet, raunchy. I would also say, oh gosh, what are two more? Let me think. Maybe fiery with the hair, very
Yeah.
fiery.
And the Aries
Um,
energy.
yes, the Aries energy, very fiery for sure. And just powerful. I like to really channel my, inner power in my persona a lot. So I like to feel very powerful and really present that when I'm performing. So definitely those five if I had to think of something off the top of my head.
Beautiful. I definitely agree.
Thanks.
So who's been some of your burlesque inspirations? I suppose Dita and Ginger as well.
Yes, I mean, absolutely. I do believe that Ginger has sort of a similar background to me. So I really am inspired by her. And I can tell that we come from like a similar place. I love her movement style. Dita, of course, I'm actually getting to see Dita live for the first time for my birthday at the end of March. I've never gotten to see her perform. But of course, like from what I've seen online and her extravagant costuming and the big props is definitely, it's also over the top. It's hard to not just be in awe of that. I also really love like Jezebel Thunder. She is such a powerhouse performer. I've seen her perform live on a few occasions and I'm just awestruck every single time. Nobody, I think, performs as powerfully as she does. I really, really admire her a whole lot. Um, and I do also really love one of the first people that I saw that I feel like had a very similar movement style to me and also had like a similar like body style to me as well was Medianoche. I am so obsessed. I have always been very inspired by her in particular. Just her sensuality and the way that she performs is really amazing. So those are definitely like tops for me. It's hard to pick. There are so
Oh
many
yeah.
people I draw inspiration from, but those are definitely some people that like come to my mind first for sure.
It's funny that you say Medianoche because she's also one of my absolute faves, and I can see the similarities just a little bit in like
Oh, really?
the vibes. I love it.
Yeah, she just, yeah, I think that I love the way that she like interacts and plays with the audience. It's really fun.
Mm.
Um, and I I believe she is from Spain originally.
Yes, I think so.
And yes, and my family is actually from Spain as well. So
Maybe
that was actually,
related.
yeah, I mean, my grandmother on my dad's side was an immigrant from Spain.
Mhm.
Um, and I have actually gotten to go there once when I was much younger with my family. So I thought that that was really funny too. I was like, oh my gosh, we're like kind of from like a similar area. So,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
yeah.
So do you have a specific creative process when you develop an act?
I mean, I think it really depends. I know that there are like friends, like performer friends of mine that always start kind of at the same place. They either have like a song that is the thing that, you know, is the spark, either a costume idea that is what starts the spark, or like a character or a concept. I feel like all of my acts have kind of developed a little bit differently. Um, Sometimes it is the song. I just find a song and I'm like, I love this music. I really, really am feeling really passionate about this song. I'm gonna make something to this, and then I will figure out the choreography and the costume from there. And then there are other acts that I have where, like, I have an act where I have like a saloon girl number. I just knew I wanted to do a saloon girl number. I was like, I want to do a saloon girl. This is the like costume concept I have. And then it did take me a while to pick the music and the choreography. I had some like trial and errors with music. But I finally found something that I'm really clicking with, which is really nice. So it really just depends on like what strikes me creatively. But music is definitely like a really big one for me. I think I have my like Spotify striptease playlist, and it's like 24 hours worth of music.
I love
I
it.
just yeah, I just constantly am like listening to new stuff and finding new inspirations and putting it in that playlist, and I listen to it all the time just to, you know, remind myself of what's on there and just keep myself sort of in that creative place and keep the juices flowing. So it really depends, but I think music is definitely the number one for me for sure.
So, what do you have a pre-show routine or ritual?
Pre-show routine or ritual. I guess I sort of do. I don't like actively have anything that I like I'm actively conscious of that I do, but thinking about it, I guess I do have sort of like a way of how I like to start my show days for sure. I definitely am I like to give myself a lot of time to get ready. I hate having shows where I have like little time, which I mean, of course, that happens every once in a while. But if I had my preference, I would have a full 2 hours to get ready. I like to spend my time doing my makeup. I love the process of putting on makeup and painting for the stage. I've always loved putting on makeup. I remember when I did my first solo competition when I was like 6. That was the first time I convinced my mom to buy me red glitter for my lips. And when I did my first competitive solo, I had a red glitter lip and a silver glitter eye. I will never forget. And so, yeah, it's always just been there. Um, so I like having a really long time to get ready and do my hair and my makeup. And then I also like to give myself time before I go on stage to listen through my music a few times, get ready a little bit early. I always tell myself if I'm not sitting in my corset unnecessarily for half an hour, I'm gonna have a panic attack. So I have to be very ready and prepared to go on stage, and give myself some time to stretch and listen to my music a couple times before I go on, just to really mentally be present, because I feel like I can really tell whenever I'm not mentally present, like when I watch my videos back and stuff. So I try to give myself some time to just really be in the moment and excited about the show. So
So if you could swap lives with anyone for a day, who would it be? And that can be within burlesque or
anyone ever?
yeah.
Which lives? I mean, this is gonna be such a silly thing to say, but if I were to switch lives with anyone on the planet, it would be a rich lady's house cat, to be so fair.
Yes.
That would just be living the actual dream, getting to lay around and be pampered all day, getting food whenever you want, getting to, you know, be a nuisance whenever you want, and everyone still loves you and you look fabulous all the time. And I'm sure they're dressed up in fancy little pearl collars. So if I had to have any other life, it would definitely be a single rich lady's house cat for sure.
I love that. I love that.
That's
We've never had that answer before, but I agree with you.
It's so true. I mean, I think all the time. I'm like, if I get reincarnated, if reincarnation is real and I'm lucky enough to come back, I want to be a single rich lady's house cat because that would be the best life. You would have nothing to worry about ever.
Literally.
Yeah, no stress, no responsibilities. That's what I want.
So good. If you could choose someone to share a dressing room with, who would it be?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have some of my local friends. My friend Brittany Holly. I absolutely love sharing a dressing room with her. Me and her, she's like one of the first friends that I made when I moved from Oklahoma to Dallas when I was like really new in the scene. So anytime me and Brittany get to be in a dressing room together is literally just the best. I literally love hanging out with her and being backstage with her. I also really love being backstage with Gigi Holiday from New York City. I love her. I obviously don't get to see her a ton because she lives in New York City, but anytime I am at a festival and I run into her, it's such a joy. She just has like the warmest, biggest energy, and she just makes everybody feel like just amazing. I love giving her the biggest hugs. She gives the best hugs. She was at one of the first festivals I ever went to after I debuted when I was a wee baby and very, very shy and didn't know anybody and didn't know who to talk to. And we ended up being housed in the same house together. And she just automatically like kind of took me under her wing and made sure that I felt like comfortable and like had somebody to talk to. And so I just really love anytime I get to see her. So anytime I would get to be backstage with her would be such a pleasure. I love her so much.
Oh, that's so sweet. So what's some really good advice that you've received within burlesque?
Really good advice. I would say one of the best things that I was ever told is if the audience can see you, if you can see the audience can see you. Your performance starts from the second you step onto the stage to the second you step off the stage. That's like some of the best like actual performance advice I've been given. And I think that it's really like it really kind of helps you stay in the moment and keep you in that character is especially after your act is done and you're like walking off stage, that's like the hottest walk I've ever seen. You better walk off stage and do an extra twirl and make them look at you for an extra 30 seconds, even though your music's done. I love that. And I teach that to anyone that I'm teaching workshops to. I tell them that information. If we're talking about like just general advice as well, and as cheesy as it sounds, you have to tell yourself to shut up sometimes on the inside, you know?
Yeah.
Like everybody has their good and bad days, but you really have to tell that like inner saboteur to just shut up sometimes. And you just really have to try and turn that off. And it's really hard, but I really think that's like the biggest piece of advice I can give to anyone, even if they're starting out or they've been doing it for years, like just learning when to stop listening to your own brain and being like, shut up, you're being so stupid. Like, stop saying these mean things to yourself. If you were my best friend and I heard somebody talking to them like that, I would beat them up.
Yeah.
So just learning how to be a little bit nicer to yourself. And it is hard sometimes, but I think it's important to just remind yourself of that and give yourself some grace, because being in entertainment is no game for anybody. It is no joke sometimes. So you got to just give yourself some grace and take a breath and know that you are a badass, and other people think so as well. And it makes it a lot better.
Yeah. I
Makes
think
the dark days better for sure.
I think like I've interviewed, you know, really sort of like beginner performers, and then sort of people who've been in it for years and years, and they've all said that, like, a similar thing, like imposter syndrome is real and it is alive all the time, like no matter if it's your first debut or whatever, like it's just always there, and you just have to like really look after your mental
Yes.
health and like actually try and just like get through it and remember you're a bad bitch.
Yes,
And you're on stage
absolutely.
for a reason and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I think that it also, especially when you're first starting out, it's so hard because the people who've been doing it for longer seem like they have it all figured out. And like they're just, their confidence is just at 1,000 every single time that they step on the stage. And every time you see them, they seem like they have it, all together. And that's just not the case.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has their bad days and days when they are, feeling like their makeup looks like crap, or, they're bloated or whatever it may be, and they're just not feeling their best. And that's the whole name of the game, is going out there and pretending like you're not feeling like crap that day. And I think that it makes it so much easier when you start realizing, oh, all of these other people are just normal people.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing the same thing that I am, and just trying to get to, tomorrow and get through this. And it makes it a lot easier and makes you feel a lot more comfortable and seen. So I think it's important for people to know that for sure.
Definitely. Has there been any bad advice that you've received, or like backhanded compliments?
I mean, I have gotten some interesting comments from people who think that they like to own colors of the rainbow, which is really fun. So I always try to tell people in my workshops too, nobody, unless it is a proprietary design or a song that was made just for you, nobody owns a color, nobody owns a prop, nobody owns a song. Is it important to be conscious of the people, especially in your local scene, that already have access to certain songs or might have like certain, signature colors or whatever? Yes, absolutely. But nobody owns the color red, y'all.
Yep.
This is burlesque. Everybody has a red costume. Like, it's okay. Nobody owns the color red. I think that is just so silly. And I think that people just get really defensive sometimes about stuff like that, where it's not really necessary, in my opinion. Yes, obviously, if somebody has your same music with the same color and a similar looking costume, like, absolutely, that is unacceptable. And it is important to just be aware of the performers in your city and, in close cities to you and what they're doing, so you're not, accidentally doing something too similar to them. But with that being said, I don't think, anybody should be mad because someone else is performing to Harlem Nocturne. You know what I mean? Like,
literally. Oh
my gosh. So yes, I have gotten some not very nice comments about wearing the color red, but we're still wearing the color red, so it's okay.
Exactly, and it looks so good.
Thanks.
So if you could travel back in time and talk to yourself when you started burlesque, what would you say?
Be nice to yourself. Give yourself a moment. Give yourself some time. It is so hard starting out because you want to be up here the second that you start, and that's just not, I mean, it does happen sometimes, but not very often. It does not happen, very often for someone that is just debuting to absolutely skyrocket and start, doing all of these things. It's okay to have to work through the the bridesmaids dresses and slowly upgrade acts over time. It is okay to, start somewhere, and don't beat yourself up because you're starting somewhere.
Mm.
There are ways to elevate your acts and elevate your look without spending a quadrillion jillion dollars. There are ways to improve your performance and make your performance really impressive and really memorable without having a $5,000 costume. You don't need to have all of that. And it's okay to start out small and slowly build over time. And I really had to tell myself that, because when I first started, I could see the potential in myself, and I would get really frustrated because I wouldn't be where I wanted to be fast enough. And it's really hard to not want to be somewhere overnight, and it's okay to wait. The time will come. The people who are passionate about this and about art in general and entertainment in general, they will get there. They just need to continue to push and keep on and continue to create and be passionate about what you're doing, and the pieces will all fall in place. I promise. It will happen. You just have to stick to it and don't give up. Like, you just cannot give up, because there have definitely been a few times where I have been like, I got rejected from this festival, I'm quitting. Like, I'm
Yeah.
absolutely quitting. I'm gonna stop. I'm never performing ever again. And you just can't let yourself feel like that, even when it's hard.
Definitely, definitely. Well, we are going to come to a break and we will be right back with Vixie Sinclair.
A quick thanks to Cam Attree for sponsoring the Burlesque Bulletin, and for all his hard work behind the scenes, filming and editing the podcast. Cam has been involved in the burlesque industry for over 12 years through his photography and videography. If you are a performer looking to get promo photos and video, or a producer looking to get your show photographed or filmed, please contact Cam through his website, camattree.photography, or find him on Instagram at camattree.photo-video. And now back to the episode.
Hello, everyone. We are back with Vixie Sinclair. So, Vixie, what has been one of your favorite highlights throughout your burlesque journey?
One of my favorite highlights. Well, it's hard not to say when I won the first Sin City Burlesque Festival. That was definitely a highlight of mine so far. That was just, I mean, my whole life, I've never won anything ever. Like competing, I've always gotten like maybe third, or maybe I never placed. I never had like the best technique growing up as a dancer. So I just never really got there. So that was very, very exciting for me. And it felt very, very validating, which was nice. And it was just such an amazing lineup of contestants as well. It was just an honor to even be there at all, to be so honest. So to win was absolutely insane and crazy. And the rest of the night, I was like, I literally, is this real life? This is the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. So that was definitely my top highlight. Second to that, I would have to say was actually this past weekend. I was one of the headliners for the second Alamo City Tease Burlesque Festival. So that was my first time actually technically booked as a headliner. I've been booked as a feature performer before, but that was my first time being listed as like a headliner, like on the like advertisements and stuff. So that was really exciting. And I got to teach my Stage Presence 101 workshop, and had, I think about 12 people ended up showing up. So I was really excited about that, because I didn't think anyone was going to show up. So that was really fun. Yes,
I would have shown up if someone would have bought me a plane ticket. I would have.
Well, thank you. It was really fun, and I really enjoyed just getting to like talk with everybody and share a little bit about just things that I've learned over the years and things that have really helped me as a performer. So those are definitely two really big ones that have just been sticking with me and feeling, making me feel very full. So
Well deserved.
Thank you.
So what's been some maybe not so good highlights or some not so great moments, maybe some malfunctions on stage or something like that?
Oh gosh, malfunctions are the worst. It's the worst. Yeah. So my new like nude champagne act that I
Mhm.
debuted this past fall. Um, that one, the first time I did it, like the actual debut of it, which was a show, a local show here in town, before I took it to do my step down at Sin City this past year. I had like a complete wardrobe malfunction, which I've never had to deal with before. My skirt has like a back reverse zipper, so
Mhm.
it zips from like the bottom up in the back. And my zipper actually got like somehow one of the laces on my corset got like stuck in the zipper.
Oh,
And so my skirt was just attached and I was just with it until my corset came off, which was fine. I made it work. But
mhm.
that was the first time I've ever truly had like a costume malfunction on stage that was so bad that I was like, someone like was trying to help me and they like weren't able to help me.
Oh my
And then I
God.
just had to keep going and pretend that it was fine. So that was definitely not ideal. I was very, very upset about it afterwards, but it happens. I just had to, let that fall off and not
Mhm.
really, make me nervous the next time. And I haven't had that happen again. So
Oh, good.
thankfully, I figured out how to mitigate that problem.
Yep.
But that's why we, try and practice as much as we can, but
Mhm.
sometimes stuff still happens. So that was really hard, definitely. And then most recently was the first time I ever had like a music malfunction
Oh.
was 2 weeks ago actually. And I was like halfway through my number and my music just started skipping, just like for like at least 30 seconds, if not longer. It was just skipping in the same place. And they had to like fumble to like restart it, but then I was already like 4.5 minutes into my act. And so they
Oh
had to
my
like find the place where I was. And that was a bit of a mess, but
God.
you just gotta keep going. So,
Yeah.
and the audience was on my side, so that
Oh,
made it a
good.
little. So, I just played it off like it was supposed to happen, and the
Yeah.
audience was, still with me. So, it ended up being fine. But you live and you learn, and you
Yeah.
figure out how to deal with stuff like that. But
I feel like
yeah,
I always end up cheering harder when malfunctions happen. I'm just like, it's okay,
yeah,
babe. It's okay.
we're with you. It's fine. Keep
Yeah.
going. It's
Yeah.
okay. It happens. I know it feels worse than it is for sure, but
Yeah.
you live and you learn. You keep going. It's
Mhm.
okay.
Definitely. So what do you believe is your biggest strength when performing?
I would definitely say my biggest strength is probably my musicality and stage presence for sure. Again, I'm not like the most technically talented dancer. And I also have scoliosis. So I deal with like back pain pretty regularly. And it has gotten like, more like severe as time has gone on. So I'm definitely not the most like rolling around on the floor doing backflips and like crazy stuff. So I really lean into my musicality and my stage presence and being able to interact with the audience and have special moments with the audience, because those are the things that I'm really good at and those are the things that I can really capitalize on. So I definitely try to make those like really strong, since, I don't necessarily always have the physical availability to be able to, do the split, like crazy jump splits and like, fun fish rolls and like all kinds of fun, floor work or, extra stuff like that, like I have been in the past. I definitely still pull out some things here and there, but not as much as I used to. So I really try to lean into just really listening to my music, knowing my music, and really like creating a fun, memorable experience with the audience because at the end of the day, that's what we're there for is to entertain, the audience, the people who paid tickets to see us and make it a memorable and a special experience for them. So if I'm able to achieve that, then I, consider that a good performance.
And what about some weaknesses or something that you would like to work on?
I definitely, and I'm actually actively like my newest act, I really pushed myself because coming from a very like codified choreography based background, it has been very difficult for me to really find moments of like stillness and really that slow burn that I appreciate so much in other performers. So I challenged myself a lot with this new act of mine to be really still and be really slow and intent on what I'm doing when I'm, moving in my act, and not giving myself so much choreography, having it be a little bit more improv based and, not as like set in stone. So I have more available time to really just like be present and be still and do like really intense slow burn burlesque. So that definitely has been a challenge for me with this act, but I'm finally like the past few times that I've done it, I've like really been feeling it and it's been feeling really good. So I think that that's like finally like a hurdle that I'm getting over. So that's been really exciting for me, and something that I've been working on for a while and that I feel like I'm getting more attuned to for sure.
I love that. I definitely relate with that. Like, it's so hard to find those really like quiet moments and like sink into them rather than being like, I've got to do something right now.
Yes, absolutely. Especially because like when your adrenaline is so high and you just like it like lives inside of like the center of your chest and you're like, oh my God, I need to move around. Like I need to walk, I need to do something, I need to move my arms. Like, and I finally been able to like find the the inhale and exhale the breath in in this act, and so it's felt really good and I've been very proud of myself for pushing myself to do something different.
Well, I'm
So
I'm very excited to see because I
yes.
I already think like the obviously I've never seen you perform in real life, but obviously I've done all the stalking I could I could on Instagram and all the things. And I feel like you are so good at that, like really slow burn and everything like that. To see you come out with something that's even going to be like more like femme
Mhm.
slow burn, like I'm very excited.
Yes, yes. It's my Champagne nude act.
Yes.
It's like a two-parter. It's one of my longer acts. It's like it runs at 6 minutes.
Mhm.
And the second half is the song Slow and Easy by Henry Mancini. So it literally is like slow
Oh,
and like slower than what slow has been in the past. So
yeah.
it's like really very like
Oh,
slow and very sensual. So it's been a challenge, but it's been really fun, and I'm finally feeling like really confident in it. So it's been a good challenge for me.
amazing. So what are some goals that you potentially have in the future? Can be near future or, far off. What's some goals?
I would love to travel internationally. Me and my husband are working. Well, my husband has not had a passport. I had a passport that my parents lost. They lost my passport, so I'm having to apply for a new passport. It's very annoying, but I'm working on getting my passport again. I would love to travel to, literally anywhere and everywhere. I'd love to come to Australia. I'd love to go to Canada. I'd love to do a European tour. So that would definitely be something I'd love to do in the future. I'd also love to do more like headlining spots, feature spots, for festivals. I just love the festival circuit in general. I think it's so fun getting to see everyone and build relationships with both like old friends and new friends. Like I just love going to those events and seeing everyone and being in. I always find myself being so inspired after seeing everyone perform. So I would love the opportunity to do some more of that as well.
Um, so we're going to play a little game. It's called
Okay.
This or That. It's
Okay.
fairly self-explanatory. You just have to choose your favorite, this or that.
Okay. I'm
Okay,
ready.
ready? Cool.
Yes.
Rhinestones or feathers?
Rhinestones.
C string or G string?
G-string only because I've never worn a C-string and I'm scared.
Yeah, I am too. I've never done it.
I'm scared, but I would love to try. But G-string for now, yes.
Neo or classic burlesque?
Oh, that's so hard. I definitely think I'm a little more of a classic girl for sure. I love classic burlesque.
Boa or feather fans?
Boa for sure. I am a boa girl.
Have you tried feather fans?
I have a pair of pheasant feather fans. I've never tried classic ostrich.
Mm.
I do have maybe a plan for the future to have some ostrich fans, but I just love boas. I have three ostrich boas and I have two tool. I have one tool and then an organza boa as well. So, and it's hard for me to not get more because I love them as a prop. I love the phallicness of them.
Mm.
I love being able to play with them. I just think they're such a fun prop to have. They're like easy to travel around with. I just love them
Mm.
so much.
Tassels or assels?
I've actually never done assholes, which is so funny because I'm definitely more of like a bottom heavy lady.
That's a crime that you haven't done an
I know.
assel.
I have been told that. I have been told that. So definitely tassels, just because I've never done the tassels before.
Diamonds or pearls?
Diamonds for sure.
Lace
Um,
or leather?
Probably lace. I'm
Mhm.
definitely like a girly girl. I like to try and tap into my edgy side sometimes, but I definitely am more of a lacy lady.
Drag or burlesque?
Man,
Everyone hates this question.
because I love drag so much. Like I love going to drag shows and I love enjoying drag as like an audience member.
Mm.
But I do think I have to say burlesque because even in drag, I do love my draglesque probably
Mm.
the most. So
Yes.
burlesque has to take the top spot.
Stocking peels or stripper heels?
Stripper heels, 100%. I
Yeah.
love me a pleaser. Yes. I club danced for about a year.
Mhm.
Um, and I low key think about doing it again sometimes, but I just love a pleaser. They're so comfortable. They make your legs look so good. They're easy to dance in. I love pleasers so much. They're the best.
Big stage show or intimate bar show?
That's the hardest one. God. Intimate bar show. I'm
Okay.
gonna I
Because
love
you're
I
working with the audience.
yes, I love audience interaction. I mean, I love a big stage, especially for like really big, like bigger costumes or like props and stuff like that. But I just love playing with audience. It's so fun. So I definitely think intimate bar show.
Cabaret or comedy?
Cabaret or cabaret, I think. Yeah, I think so. That's a hard one, but I think cabaret.
Early bird or night owl?
Unfortunately, I am forced to be an early bird. I am an internal night owl, but I am forced to be an early bird in my life.
Mhm. Do most of your shows start quite late?
Um, I would say sort of
Mm.
my troops shows start at 8 p.m., which
Mm-hmm.
I feel like is pretty okay. I mean, our show gets done by like 10:30, so it's not
Yeah.
like terribly late.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know of some shows. There's like a show in Houston that doesn't even start until 10 o'clock. So some of the shows do start pretty late in the evening. But I would say on average they start around 8 o'clock. I feel like that's at
Okay.
least for like the Dallas area, that's pretty standard.
Yeah. In Australia, it's usually like the absolute earliest is like 5, but that's usually student showcases when there's like multiple shows.
Yeah.
But most of the time, yeah, it is like 7, 8. It
Yeah,
usually
seven,
goes,
8 seems
yeah.
pretty average for sure.
Yeah, I think I've just seen international performers and they're like, oh, like I'm not going on until like 11 or like 1.
Oh yeah. I mean,
What?
I think like yeah, I think in some like New Orleans is definitely like that.
Mm.
I think New
New
York is like
York.
that as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, they have some earlier shows, but then they have like late shows.
Hmm.
And New Orleans, I mean, they have shows that don't even start until 10:30, 11 o'clock. They're
Crazy.
going until past midnight. So yeah, it's a little hard, but
It's hard for us
grandma
grandmas.
yeah, it's hard for a grandma, but we make it work. We have to.
Sweet or savory?
I definitely have a sweet tooth. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. I love a cake. I love a donut. I love a candy.
What's your absolute favorite? Do you have a favorite?
I
Go to.
really love pies.
Mm-hmm.
That's like so random, but I love a pie with like a flaky crust.
Like
Like
apple?
either no, my favorite is either like a chocolate cream, or
Oh,
I really also love lemon cake, like
mm.
or lemon pie. I love a lemon meringue pie. I love lemon flavor in general, like lemon cookies, lemon cake, lemon tarts, any of that. If it's lemon, I'm definitely there. I don't care the form. But I love pies a lot for sure. Like key lime pie,
Mm.
lemon meringue. I just love pie.
Yum, yum, yum. Halloween or Christmas?
I think Halloween. I
Yeah,
love the aesthetics of Christmas, but Halloween is just more fun. It's a
yeah,
lot more, it's like less serious. It's very silly and fun.
definitely. Red or white wine?
Red wine for sure. I'm a Pinot Noir girl.
Mm-hmm.
Noir or a red blend.
Oh, nice. Cocktails or beer?
Oh, that's very hard. Cocktails. I think I would have to settle on. I love beer, but sometimes they do make me feel really full, and I like to eat food too. I like to eat, so I don't want to be too full in my drink. So cocktails.
Do you have a go-to cocktail?
French 75.
What's
I like
that?
gin. A French 75.
Yeah, I've never heard
So
of it.
it's a gin based cocktail that's served in a coupe glass
Oh.
traditionally. But it's got the gin, it's got lemon, it's got simple syrup, shaken, strained, and then you top it with champagne. Um,
Oh,
if you get a French 75 that has I think it's called creme de violette. It's like
okay.
a purple violet liqueur. It turns the drink purple, and it's called an Elizabeth Taylor,
Cute.
which is so fun. And then if I'm feeling really fancy, and they have like an elderflower option, because I want my cocktails to taste like a bouquet of flowers that I just
Mm.
bit into. I'm like crazy. I like soap flavored stuff. So if it tastes like flowers, I'm there. Just give it to me straight.
I'm surprised that I've never heard of that because my partner's a bartender. So I'm like,
Really? Yes, it's so good. If you like gin, it's
yeah,
it's the best. It's sweet, it's tart, it's got champagne, it's great.
yum. So let everyone know what you've got coming up and where they can find you on social media if they don't already follow you.
Yes. So my main social media is going to be my Instagram at Vixie St. Clair, just all one word. I did also recently get a Blue Sky account. I literally never post on it, but if Instagram explodes, I wanted to have one and I didn't want someone to steal my name. So I've got a Blue Sky. And then the same on Facebook as well. I just am not super active on there. What do I have coming up? I don't really have a whole ton coming up in the next few months. Me and my troupe are going to be traveling up to Oklahoma City for a show mid-March, which is going to be so fun. We're going to be doing like a little girls trip. We're probably going to like carpool up and we're staying in an Airbnb together. It's going to be really fun. And then I'm going to see Dita's show at Voltaire at the Venetian for my birthday at the end of March. And then I will be headed back to NOLA, New Orleans, the last week in May, or the third week in May, excuse me, the week of the 20th. So that's kind of the biggest thing I have coming up. But
Awesome, amazing. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of it. Honestly, when I slid into your DMs, I was like, there's no way in hell she's going to see this. And then you replied, and it was so lovely. Like, yeah, you've been
Aw.
so amazing and so like accommodating, and I'm so happy we've been able to make it work, even though,
Yeah,
time
thank you so
difference.
much for reaching out. Same here. I was like, oh my God, there's someone that wants to interview me. That's literally crazy. Oh my God. So this has been really, really exciting and really fun for me as well. So thank you for being so lovely and having me on. It's been so fun. Yay.
No worries. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you soon.
Yes, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you so much to our guest for being on the podcast and letting us take a peek behind the curtain of their lives. Thanks for everyone joining us, and we will see you in our next episode.